This is day 3, and it snowed last night. Not that much. The main thing was cold and the wind. And presently, or it was anyway, it was 15 degrees and warm by dead of winter standards. But in this tent, not so warm. With that wind, bit right through. And the tent never was supposed to be through the harshest portions of the winter. And I have another tent for that. But I thought November it would be okay. Last night was not okay, the 6th of November. Okay? The other part is the snow that has fallen. It has slowed me up. There is no way that my food and fuel ahead of me is going to, at the rate that it's I'm going to be traveling now, I haven't got enough food and fuel. Particularly is the fuel, the isobutane. There's no way that I can have a dry camp with those with the isobutane where during the winter there's no such thing as a dry camp because there's snow everywhere. You melt the snow, you got your water, and one camp one can of propellant might work for one camp, and then you'll be out. That's my experience with it. And I need wet gas. I need my wet gas stove, and I need a lot of it down the line, not just with me on the sled, but further down the line. Also because of I know I've been slowed up by this onset of winter up here. I need to put more food in if it's possible. Besides more fuel, more food up ahead. So I'm faced with about 15 miles back is where the pickup is. It's got some of the gear that I'm talking about. It does not have the tent. And so if I go back 15 miles, I come back in over here by this way, and I come in with 6 days on board, but I also come in before I come back here with the other gear, and I would have to go back to Helena to get, the tent I would have to go back to Helena for. I'd also have to go back to get the extra food that I'm going to need, and I'll have to have 6 days from here, and then another 4 days place Jonky Creek, and probably Jonky or Minor. I would need to put more wet fuel, depending upon where I start back there again, and that's what it amounts to, is beginning all over again. And I've done this a lot. This is how I've survived these winter trips, is to know when I'm outgunned and back out and go get rearmed with the proper stuff. Now, I know if this ever becomes public, there are the trolls who are going to say other things. To the rest of you folks, don't listen to them. I happen to know what I'm doing. And though it may not look like it because I'm backing out, but backing out is what experienced people do. Go back out, get the right stuff, come back, and relearn what learned from before, things like that. That's what I'm doing. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. I'm still tempted to go forward. Boy, am I tempted still to go forward. That is exactly how people have got themselves killed. And it is exactly what has stopped me, or it's kept me alive for so long. And shit. Can't do the trip without the right amount of gear and the right gear. Last night, this tent I've used this tent extensively during the winter, and have to be in an area where there's low wind and in the trees. Or this guy here, he just won't handle it. I felt that coolness across my face, the breeze coming through the mosquito mesh. This is what is known as a 3-season tent. And and that was down here in the trees. Up there where I'm headed today, if I go forward, that's what's waiting for me up there. Treeless terrain, or a lot of it. And if I get caught up there, and I think I will be, because I'm now been slowed up so tremendously that I'm only going to make maybe 3.5, 4 miles today. If that's the case, I'll be up there in a dry camp and no way to make the fuel or the water except for wood fire. Ever had a wood fire on the Continental Divide in the middle of a windstorm? Yeah. Come here, boy. Okay, I know I'm on trail because of the cairn there. And I waded in here last night from over there. And out there in that burn, I couldn't find the trail at all. I didn't try. And here's where I spent the night. I normally do this in the darkness early morning after I've gotten up, and that ain't gonna happen today, obviously. I didn't get up until after that sun started shining on the tent. And that's about 7:30 or so this morning. Yesterday we did 3.4 miles. Now I know that doesn't sound like much, and but it's a lot. It's a lot for me, and really it's a lot for anybody that comes out here and really does this stuff. Those 20-miler days, people, I'll have to see it to believe it. I'll need documentation for something like that, because here, nothing to do with my age. It's tough. Okay, today's November 8th, and it wasn't supposed to, but it did last night. The temperature dropped down to 1 below 0 Fahrenheit. The interior of the tent was 7 above. I have a zero-rated 30-year-old sleeping bag in a bivy sack. It kept me warm, and the rest of the gear that I have a vapor barrier liner here I did not use. Probably will use it tonight if we have the same thing happen again. And I also have a blanket, and as part of my sleeping system, it got used with Kramer, along with a whole bunch of pads. It's incredible how these animals do so much better than us. And he was shivering at the beginning of the evening in the tent, but by the middle of the night when it was sub-zero, he was no longer freezing. And no more, well, at least he wasn't shivering. Pretty amazing. So, I had 7 miles to go to get to Goldstone Pass over here from my last camp before this one. I didn't make it. I didn't know I was going to be running into 2 and 3 feet of powder out here in a climb. And but I did, and I no longer have any faith on just how far I'm going to go. I know this, that this late start at noon comes as a result of me not getting up until 7:30 in the morning. And my equipment, I had to let it warm up so that I could compress it down into my packs. And that takes time. Winter is a lot different. So the downside to this is I'm going to have trouble making it to Goldstone Pass tonight or today, and I'm down to 1 day of supplies, no water. That's a problem. My propellant stove cannot be used to melt snow. Now I can build a fire and maybe do something like that, but let's see where this all goes. And in the meantime, it's onward, upward, northward. Continental Divide. My name is Richard Lane, and this is what I'm doing.